I'm in this position, what I don't want to do is I don't want to bridge, because if I bridge and take my hips up off the floor, he'll slot his knee in and then he'll get tucks and he'll be able to take the back, right? What I don't want to do as well, I don't want to leave this arm out recklessly, because like you'll end up catching that and then we go into like crucifixes and that type of stuff. So I want to keep my neck tight, so like shrug your shoulders, kind of like a turtle would hiding her head in the shell. And I'm going to turn towards Roland. So I start to turn this way, and my 4 fingers go into where his index finger is here, and I strip the grip. The way I strip the grip is I pull the hand up and then I bring my hand down. It's really important. So one hand is pulling up and the other hand is going down towards the floor. I then turn my knees and hips towards Roland. The closer my legs go to Roland's head, the further my head goes away. So we do like a reverse shrimp to free our elbow, and then we can go into a counter Kimura here, or we can come up on top. Kimura position, head nice and tight, keep this elbow tight to your body. So if we start to bridge, he can obviously go into back attacks. If we leave our arm out, then he has this arm trap and he can go into crucifix arm bars. So we're gonna go 4 fingers on the index finger. I pull the hand towards me and I pummel my hand down towards the floor. Knees go towards Ronan, and then I bring my head away, and then what we do is we go into our figure 4 and we can start attacking from here. Or at the very least, here, and then come up on top. This hand pummels inside and I grab his wrist by a monkey grip. And then I'm going to extend my right arm and I push his hand towards his head. When see the way when I'm pushing my elbow away from my body, this makes space to pummel this hand inside, and then turn towards my training partner. So we're going to talk about like early prevention first. Basically, if Ronan goes up into a Kimura, so here, and he starts to attack, there's a couple of things that went wrong. So if we go back, one was my hand was on the mat. All right, so that's obvious. But not only was my hand on the mat, I let Ronan's shoulder go from the outside, or go from my right shoulder past my left shoulder here. So you keep going, stop your Kimura. See the way his shoulder is now outside my shoulder line. So if we go back one more time. So the hands are on the floor. If this shoulder goes past the outside shoulder, he has a Kimura. All right, so it's okay to put your hands on the mat, but it's not okay to put your hands on the mat and then let his shoulder go outside the outside shoulder. So that's why we need head position. So I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit. If Ronan tries to sit up and do the Kimura, you can see it's very hard. If I'm relaxed with my head position, that shoulder will pass and then we're in trouble. All right, maybe I don't have the head position, well then I'll go with hands off the mat. So if you try to get the Kimura, if you go for it now, there's no head position, there's no Kimura. So what gets me in trouble is hand on the mat and then letting this shoulder pass the outside shoulder. Go for it. Here. All right, so that's prevention. So what we're gonna do is, if our partner does manage to get the Kimura, here, I stand on my left foot straight away, and then I put my hand underneath my hamstring. Once my hand goes underneath my hamstring, I put weight back on it by going back to like 2 knees on the floor. And I'm in a belly down position. So once I get into a belly down position, I'm going to use can I spin you around this way? Yep. Run. Once I'm in a belly down position, I'm going to use like a thumb post grip, and I go on the hip or the quad. And I start to roll towards my left hip, and I'm going to push Ronan's elbow past the shoulder, and I connect his tricep and his elbow on his head. So if he tries to do the Kimura now, it doesn't work. And now we're going to go sit with the same grip break we did on the Kimura trap position. So right hand grabs his index finger, and then all I do is free my hand. Then we get a crossface and underhook where we can start passing. So what Ronan wants to do is basically put my hand behind my back and then bring it up towards my shoulder. So knowing that if he goes for it, the big set here. And then to get more weight on my hand, I pinch my knees, I use a thumb post grip, and I see where my right frame is bent. I'm going to lock this out and I start to move towards his head. His elbow and his arm should be connected to his head. Once this happens, I get my right hand in, and then we just strip that grip the exact same way as we did the last time. Once that happens, we pummel towards the head, we get our crossface and underhook where we can start passing or going into different types of attacks. Ronan sits up, he has the Kimura, stand on your left foot, cup your hamstring, pinch your knees. Thumb post grip, go on the quad or the hip, and I drive my weight on top of Ronan's arm, which eventually goes on his head here. Even a better way of explaining it would be, try get inside as much as you can, so your shoulder and your lat inside his elbow and his tricep. So if you go strong with the Kimura grip, you can see I'm trying to get connection first here. And then once I do that, I want to focus on putting his elbow over his shoulder and keep all the weight in his head. So I have this grip here. 4 fingers go inside, strip the grip. Once you strip the grip, just pummel towards the head for a crossface, an underhook, and then we can start going into all our different passing positions. So we're here. So I can strip the grip, we can go straight into crossface underhook. If I can't, and I find he's holding on with a deck grip, we use the frame to keep the weight over his head. And I'm going to use this hand to help me free my leg. I step, I use my right hand on the floor. My goal as well is to keep this shoulder connected to the floor the best I can here. If his shoulder starts to come up, he starts to cause problems and he can move. So you see where my shoulder is, it's inside his armpit as well. So I'm down low and I'm driving to get this shoulder to the floor. Once I get his shoulder to the floor, I pummel my hand out, knee goes behind the shoulder, we step, and then we get our seat out, we start taking the back. So this time I'm not fully able to free my hand. So step, put weight on the arm, and I'm here. And I just can't get a good like bite on his grip. So I keep the weight on his arm and keep the weight then on his head. And I start to free my knee. The way I do this is I use the frame and I walk my foot up towards his butt. Once my knee is free, back step, step over, and then once we come into this position, pummel your hand towards the head, keep weight on his shoulder. We start cutting angles where we can take back.